All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I am Tanvi Taneja and with me is Sunil Verma. The headlines. Government approves procurement of 14 lakh metric tons of pulses and oil seeds at MSP in Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Telangana and Haryana. Full Election Commission to review preparedness for upcoming assembly elections in Bihar today. Centre releases COVID-19 safe workplace guidelines for industry. Tamil Nadu government extends lockdown till October 31st with additional relaxations. And in IPL cricket, Sunrisers Hyderabad beat Delhi Capitals by 15 runs in Abu Dhabi. In our special series on the occasion of 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, we begin this bulletin with Bapu Ki Baat. Addressing prisoners in a jail on 25th of October 1947, Mahatma Gandhi had said, "Crime is a disease and jails should serve to treat the ailment."
तो उस वक्त जेलों में जो चलता था उसका मैं गवाह हूँ। मैं जानता हूँ कि क्या चलता था, क्या नहीं चलता था, कितना बुरा था, कितना अच्छा था। लेकिन अब तो मैं कह सकता हूँ कि जब बागडोर हमारे हाथ में आ गई है तो हमारी जेल तो जेल नहीं है, वो तो हमारी अस्पताल बननी चाहिए। और जिन्होंने खून किया है या तो जिन्होंने चोरी की है, जो डाकू बना है या तो दूसरे बहुत पीनल कोड में तो कोई एक गुना थोड़ा है, काफी गुना लिया है, उसमें से एक गुना उसने किया, तो मैं उस सब गुनाह को एक किस्म की व्याधि मानता हूँ। वो एक मर्ज है, तो वो भी बने। कोई गुनाह करने के खातिर गुनाह नहीं करता है।
The government has continued to procure Kharif 2020-21 crops at minimum support price MSP from farmers as per its existing MSP schemes. The Ministry of Agriculture said, based on the proposal from the states, approval has been accorded for procurement of over 14 lakh metric tons of pulses and oil seeds for the states of Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Telangana and Haryana. It said for other states and union territories, approval will also be accorded on receipt of proposal for Kharif pulses and oil seeds. Inaugurating 6 mega projects in Uttarakhand under the Namami Gange mission yesterday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi assured farmers about continuity of guaranteed minimum support price and government procurements of agri-produce.
MSP लागू करने का काम स्वामीनाथन कमीशन की इच्छा के अनुसार हमारी ही सरकार ने किया। आज ये लोग MSP पर ही किसानों में भ्रम फैला रहे हैं। देश में MSP भी रहेगी और किसानों को कहीं पर भी अपनी उपज बेचने की आजादी भी रहेगी। लेकिन ये आजादी कुछ लोग बर्दाश्त नहीं कर पा रहे हैं। इनकी काली कमाई का एक और जरिया समाप्त हो गया है, इसलिए इन्हें परेशानी है।
The Prime Minister said major reforms have been brought to empower farmers, workers, youth and women of the country. He criticized the opposition for launching agitation against the reforms in labour and farm sectors. The procurement of paddy during the Kharif marketing season 2020-21 has started from 26th of September in Haryana and Punjab. So far, the paddy procurement of 3,164 metric tons in Haryana and 13,256 metric tons in Punjab, having an MSP value of 31 crore rupees, has been done from 1,443 farmers of Haryana and Punjab. The procurement of paddy for the remaining states began on Monday. The ministry said, so far the government through its nodal agencies has procured 46.35 metric tons of moong, having an MSP value of 33 lakh rupees, benefiting 48 farmers in Tamil Nadu. Similarly, 5,089 metric tons of copra have been procured, benefiting 3,961 farmers in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. We spoke to Union Minister Rav Saheb Patil Danve about the procurement.
किसानों को भड़काया जा रहा था कि सरकार अब एमएसपी पे खरीदारी शुरू नहीं करेगी, लेकिन मैं आपको जानकारी देता हूं कि भारत सरकार ने पहले ही साल हरियाणा, पंजाब और बाकी देश के हिस्सों में भी खरीदारी एमएसपी ही सरकार शुरू करेगी। मेरी पंजाब के कृषि मंत्री से कल ही बात हुई, उनका जो बकाया राशि थी उनकी वो भी मैंने भेज दी है और पंजाब के कृषि मंत्री ने मोदी जी का अभिनंदन भी किया है। ये गलत है कि सरकार एमएसपी से खरीदारी नहीं करेगी। सरकार एमएसपी से ही खरीदारी करेगी, इसमें किसानों को गुमराह करने की कोई कोशिश न करे। और सरकार ने जो एनसीबीसी की जो पैसा था 20,000 करोड़ वो जारी भी कर दिया है।
Full Election Commission team led by Chief Election Commissioner Sunil Arora arrived in Patna last evening to review preparedness for the upcoming assembly elections in Bihar. The team, also comprising election commissioners Sushil Chandra and Rajiv Kumar, is on a 3-day tour to the state. Soon after the arrival, Chief Election Commissioner held a review meeting with Bihar Chief Electoral Officer and nodal officers. Today, the Election Commission team will hold meeting with representatives of different political parties. The team will also hold a review meeting in Patna with DMs and SPs of 26 districts. Tomorrow, the EC team will go to Gaya, where review meeting with DMs and SPs of 12 districts will be held. Before returning to Delhi on Friday, the Chief Election Commissioner will hold review meeting with Chief Secretary, Home Secretary and Director General of Police.
Health Minister Harshvardhan and Labour Minister Santosh Kumar Gangwar have virtually released a booklet on COVID-19 Safe Workplace Guidelines for Industry in the presence of Member Health in Niti Aayog VK Paul. Speaking on the occasion, Dr. Harshvardhan said, "These guidelines are commendable and timely, and it will help in the welfare of the industrial workers." He said the guidelines will act as a comprehensive planning guidance for employers and workers to use it to help identify risk levels of COVID-19 at individual workplace settings in their premises and to determine appropriate control measures. The minister said these guidelines consolidate all important measures into a ready reckoner of action points to make the workplace safe based on the bulwark of infection control measures like respiratory hygiene, frequent hand washing, social distancing and frequent sanitization of the workplace.
गाइडलाइन केवल किताब के लिए या वेबसाइट के लिए नहीं होती है। गाइडलाइन जो है वो आंदोलन बननी चाहिए, वो हर आदमी की जबान पे होनी चाहिए, वो हर आदमी के व्यवहार में होनी चाहिए और उसको हर आदमी के जबान पर लाने के लिए, उसको हर आदमी के व्यवहार में लाने के लिए हम सबको थोड़े से एक्स्ट्रा प्रयास करने पड़ेंगे। तो इसलिए ये गाइडलाइंस का रिलीज करने का जो ये अवसर है, जिसको हमने कहा है कि सेफ वर्क प्लेस गाइडलाइंस फॉर इंडस्ट्री।
Dr. Bardhan said the government under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi is committed to the welfare of the workers. He said as the country is moving towards the unlocking of economic activities, it is important that the guidelines are followed within the industry premises. He added that scientific prevention, precaution and positive attitude will help in the fight against COVID. He also lauded ESIC hospitals, which are playing an important role in providing services to the COVID patients. Labour Minister Santosh Kumar Gangwar said these guidelines for safety of industrial workers will encourage people. He said it is important to prepare ourselves mentally for the present situation and spread awareness about the COVID-appropriate behaviour. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu, who underwent a routine COVID-19 test, has been tested positive. Vice President's Secretariat said Mr. Naidu is asymptomatic and in good health. He has been advised home quarantine. Mr. Naidu's wife, Usha Naidu, has been tested negative and is in self-isolation. The Health Ministry today says that as India witnesses high single-day recoveries, several states and union territories are reporting more patients' recoveries than new cases. In a tweet, the ministry said the average single-day recoveries have touched a record high of 90,000 in the recent days. It said India's steep rise in recoveries has been possible due to focused and effective implementation of centre-led strategies through a whole-of-government approach. The ministry said focus on 5T, test, track, trace, treat technology has resulted in high level of sustained nationwide outcomes.
ICMR's second Sero survey findings released yesterday have revealed that 1 in 15 individuals aged 10 years and above were estimated to be exposed to SARS-CoV-2 by August, showing that a considerable population is still susceptible to COVID-19. Briefing media yesterday, DG ICMR Dr. Balram Bhargav said 6.6% of over 29,000 people aged 10 and above surveyed from 17th of August to 22nd of September showed evidence of past exposure to COVID-19, and 7.1% of the adult population aged 18 and above also showed evidence of past exposure to it. He said lockdown, containment and behavioral change at the population level have effectively checked the potential spread of SARS-CoV-2. Dr. Bhargav said the risk in urban slums was twice than that in non-slum urban areas and 4 times the risk in rural settings. The Uttar Pradesh government will establish L2 level COVID hospitals in each and every district of the state for better treatment of COVID patients. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath will inaugurate 700-bedded L2 level COVID hospitals today, which will help in strengthening the health services in the state. More from our correspondent.
These L2 level COVID hospitals are in 6 districts of the state, which includes Bareilly, Sant Kabirnagar, Shamli, Amethi, Mirzapur and Bhadohi. These hospitals will increase capacity of 700 beds for the treatment of COVID patients in the state. Out of these 700 beds, 300 beds are in Bareilly, 100 each in Amethi, Shamli and Bhadohi, and 50 each in Mirzapur and Sant Kabirnagar districts. To provide better health facilities and experts' advice for serious patients, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has also asked to connect King George Medical University of Lucknow with district hospitals and Sanjay Gandhi Postgraduate Institute of Medical Sciences with different medical colleges of the state through virtual ICU. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
The Madhya Pradesh government has made it mandatory for all nursing homes and private hospitals to display the prescribed rates of treatment of COVID-19 at the reception counter. Prescribed rates of treatment will also have to be provided to the patients and the family of the patients. This order has been issued by the Health Department in compliance with the order of the High Court. More details from our correspondent.
The state government has also clarified that the rates of corona treatment should not exceed more than 40% of the rates fixed on February 29 this year. The State Health Commissioner has instructed the Chief Medical and Health Officers of all the districts to ensure that the rates of treatment prescribed for COVID-19 is displayed at the reception counter of all nursing homes and private hospitals. Meanwhile, the number of COVID-19 cases in the state climbed up to around 1,26,000 after 1,877 new cases were reported in the past 24 hours. According to the State Health Bulletin, 2,433 coronavirus patients were discharged from the hospitals yesterday, taking the number of recovered cases in the state to 1 lakh. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
Odisha Assembly, that began its monsoon session yesterday, was conducted smoothly amid COVID-19 restrictions. A number of members, including Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik, participated in the proceedings through virtual mode. A report.
The impact of the ill-natured infection was writ large all over the House, with members meticulously maintaining protocols of social distancing, face masking and hand sanitizing. In the first half of the sitting that was devoted to the memory of the departed leaders and COVID warriors, among others, even Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik moved the obituary references through digital mode from his residence. However, the House that was united in paying homage in the first half soon got divided in the second half, with opposition BJP and Congress taking strong exception to the Odisha University Amendment Bill 2020, tabled and defended by the BJD government. Amid the uproar, even as a member tore a copy of the contentious bill, the Higher Education Minister sought to allay opposition fear that the bill would dilute the autonomy of the university. Girish Chandra Das, Bhubaneswar.
In Gujarat, a total of 1,15,859 patients have recovered from COVID-19 till now. The recovery rate has also improved to 85.19%. More from our correspondent.
The total cases detected so far in Gujarat have reached up to 1,36,004. 1,383 patients recovered during the last 24 hours. More than 43,56,000 tests have been carried out in the state till date, out of which 62,338 tests were carried out yesterday. Maximum 311 new cases reported from Surat. At present, total active cases in the state are 16,703, out of which 89 patients are on ventilator. 11 patients died yesterday, taking the total death due to COVID-19 up to 3,442. Meanwhile, Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation has added 15 new areas in the micro-containment zone following detection of new cases. Yogesh Pandya, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
The Civic Corporation in Mumbai announced that people not wearing masks will not be allowed entry inside public transport, buses, taxis and rickshaws. Officials said malls, offices and societies, among others, will paste "No mask, no entry" stickers as part of the measures taken to increase awareness among people. Our Mumbai correspondent has more.
Among rising cases of coronavirus in the metropolis and people's careless attitude towards it, the civic body would now forcefully make people wear masks in public places to control the spread of deadly virus. Chahal asked civic officials to enforce fines for mask violations strictly. Between April 1st and September 26th, the civic body has fined 14,000 people in the metropolis for not wearing masks in public and collected nearly 53 lakh from them. BEST General Manager Surendra Kumar Bagre said the decision would be implemented strictly on civic-run metropolitan bus service. Devapriya Bhattacharjee, AIR News, Mumbai.
The Home Department of Maharashtra government has issued guidelines for the upcoming Navratri and Dussehra festivals and urged people to celebrate them in a low-key manner due to the coronavirus outbreak. The government suggested to organize health and blood donation camps instead of Dandiya, Garba and cultural events involving mass participation. The State Home Department also asked festival organizers and mandals to spread awareness about COVID-19, malaria and dengue, among other diseases. As per the guidelines, the height of goddess Durga idols installed in pandals has been capped at 4 feet and the household ones at 2 feet.
The Tamil Nadu government has extended the lockdown till October the 31st with additional relaxations. In a statement yesterday in Chennai, Chief Minister Edappadi Palaniswamy said the relaxations are aimed at boosting the state economy. More from our correspondent.
Notable among the relaxations in Tamil Nadu include the doubling of the arrival of domestic flights at Chennai airport to 100 a day. The working hours for the hotels and tea stalls have been extended. All educational institutions, cinema halls, beaches and museums will continue to remain closed. The Chennai suburban train service will continue to remain suspended. Earlier, shooting for the small screen has been permitted. Now it is extended to the silver screen as well, with a cap of 100 people at a time at work. Reopening of schools and colleges will have to wait for more time, as the government plans to consult the parents before taking a call on it. Jai Singh, AIR News, Chennai.
In Karnataka, the highest number of single-day surge in COVID-19 cases was reported yesterday. The state reported 10,453 new COVID cases, taking the tally to 5,92,911. Bengaluru city alone recorded 4,868 cases. More from our correspondent.
Karnataka Medical Education Minister Dr. K. Sudhakar reviewed the situation yesterday on measures to contain the COVID pandemic in the state. He has warned of stern action against the people who flout social distancing norms in public places. Speaking to media after the meeting with the expert committee regarding COVID-19, the minister said that state government is pondering on imposing stick fine on those who flout social distancing norms in public places. A detailed directive will be out in a few days. He also said that the government has plans to organize awareness programs jointly in cooperation with the cinema stars, religious aides, political leaders and artists on COVID-19 preventive measures. R. Murthy, AIR News, Bengaluru.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Government approves procurement of 14 lakh metric tons of pulses and oilseed at NSP in Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Telangana and Haryana. Full Election Commission to review preparedness for upcoming assembly elections in Bihar today. Centre releases COVID-19 safe workplace guidelines for industry. Tamil Nadu government extends lockdown till October the 31st with additional relaxations. And in IPL cricket, Sunrisers Hyderabad beat Delhi Capitals by 15 runs in Abu Dhabi. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
President Ramnath Kovind and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have expressed condolences on the passing away of Emir of Kuwait, Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah, who died in a hospital in the United States yesterday. He was 91. In a tweet, Mr. Modi described him as a beloved leader of the Arab world and a close friend of India. The Prime Minister said, "In this moment of grief, our thoughts are with the Al Sabah family and the people of Kuwait." He said the late leader played a leading role in strengthening bilateral relations and always took special care of the Indian community in Kuwait. On this day in 1932, the Harijan Sevak Sangh was founded when Gandhiji was in Yerwada Jail, Pune, and on fast. The immediate historical background dates back to the Second Roundtable Conference in London in 1931, when Gandhiji had opposed the segregation of the depressed classes of the Hindu community into a separate electoral group. Gandhiji saw in it a sinister device of the British government to create a split in the Hindu community in the furtherance of its policy of divide and rule. A report.
The Harijan Sevak Sangh was established to combat untouchability, and a new weekly paper, The Harijan, was started. Harijan means children of God. It was Gandhiji's name for the untouchables. On 20th September 1932, when the fast began, it was observed as a day of fasting and prayer. At Shantiniketan, poet Rabindranath Tagore, dressed in black, spoke to a large gathering on the significance of the fast and the urgency of fighting an age-old evil. There was a spontaneous upsurge of feeling. Temples, wells, and public places were thrown open to the untouchables. A number of Hindu leaders met the representatives of the untouchables. An alternative electoral arrangement was agreed upon and received the approval of the British government before Gandhi broke his fast. The scrapping of separate electorates was only the beginning of the end of untouchability. Gandhiji always said, so long as the Hindus willfully regard untouchability as part of their religion, so long as the mass of Hindus consider it a sin to touch a section of their brethren, Swaraj is impossible of attainment. Gandhiji said, Swaraj is as much for the untouchable as for the touchable. With Virendra, Anupam Mishra, AR News, Delhi.
Hudali village near Belagavi district in Karnataka is a living monument of Gandhian way of life. It has imbibed the Gandhian philosophy and continues to live in the Gandhian way even today. Mahatma Gandhi had spent a few days in the village in 1937 and introduced charkha and khadi. President of Karnataka Sarvodaya Mandali, L. Narasimha, spoke to AIR News on how Hudali village even today follows Gandhi and his ideals and has become a proponent of village industry.
The whole Hudali speaks of, even today, industries, cottage industries advocated by Gandhi. Gandhi was there for 7 days. Nearly 360 people sitting together and spinning. That went on for 7 days. So, on the basis of the principles advocated by Gandhi, cooperative farming is there, cooperative societies are there, khadi weaving, khadi selling, even cottage industries. Even today, it is alive.
The newly launched alliance of the major opposition parties in Pakistan yesterday announced that it will hold its first public rally against the Imran Khan-led government on October the 11th. The country's main opposition parties last week launched the Pakistan Democratic Movement, PDM, an alliance to hold a countrywide protest movement to oust the ruling government. A 26-point joint resolution was adopted by the All Parties Conference APC on September the 20th, which was hosted by the Pakistan People's Party PPP and attended by Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz PMLN, Jamaat Ulema Islam Fazal, JUIF and several other parties. Meanwhile, Pakistan's leader of the opposition and Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz PMLN chief Shahbaz Sharif, the younger brother of three-time former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, was sent on a 14-day physical remand yesterday by court in Assets Beyond Means and Money Laundering case, a day after he was arrested by the National Accountability Bureau NAB in Lahore. In IPL cricket, Rashid Khan's brilliant performance and Bhuvaneshwar Kumar's gutsy show with the ball guided Sunrisers Hyderabad to a 15-run win over Delhi Capitals in Abu Dhabi last night. Rashid took 3 key wickets of Shikhar Dhawan, Shreyas Iyer and Rishabh Pant to hand Sunrisers Hyderabad their first win of the tournament. He was adjudged the man of the match. Defending the total leg spinner, Rashid 3 for 14 returned with 3 crucial wickets, while Bhuvaneshwar Kumar 2 for 25 scalped 2 and T. Natarajan and Khalil Ahmed took 1 wicket each to restrict Delhi Capitals to 147 for 7 in 20 overs for a deserving win. Earlier, after being asked to bat first, Johnny Bairstow, 53 of 48, scored his second 50 of the tournament, while David Warner, 45 of 33 balls, and Kane Williamson, 41 of 26, also came up with valuable contributions, helping Sunrisers Hyderabad post a competitive 162 for the loss of 4 wickets in 20 overs. Earlier, Delhi Capitals won the toss and elected to bowl. In today's fixture, Rajasthan Royals will take on Kolkata Knight Riders in Dubai.
In French Open tennis, world number 1 Djokovic eased past Sweden's Mikael Ymer, ranked 80 in straight sets, 6-0, 6-2, 6-3. It was his 32nd win in 33 matches in 2020 and kept him on course for a second French Open title following his 2016 triumph and 18th career major. Earlier, 7th seed Matteo Berrettini of Italy also won before rain suspended play on the outside courts. Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for the day. The national capital, Delhi, will have mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature was recorded at 23 degrees Celsius and maximum is expected to be around 37 degrees. In Mumbai, there will be rain or thunder showers towards afternoon or evening. The minimum temperature was 25 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 32 degrees. Chennai will have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. The temperature is likely to hover between 27 and 35 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will witness partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. The minimum temperature in the metropolis was 27 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be around 34 degrees. On to north, in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature was 21 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while the maximum will be around 35 degrees. The city is likely to have mainly clear sky. In Srinagar, the minimum temperature was around 9 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 27 degrees. The city will have mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Ladakh will have mainly clear sky. The temperature is likely to hover between 2 and 22 degrees Celsius. In Gilgit, the temperature is likely to hover between 11 and 26 degrees Celsius. It will have partly cloudy sky, becoming generally cloudy towards afternoon or evening or night. In Muzaffarabad, there will be mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. The temperature is likely to hover between 15 and 33 degrees Celsius.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. India rejecting China's unilateral claims on the LAC gets highlighted by newspapers. Never accepted unilaterally defined 1959 LAC, India on China's assertion, headlines the Statesman. India retorts as China provokes, writes the Pioneer. The Asian Age quotes the IF chief, uneasy, no war, no peace in Ladakh now. The Asian Age reports Jaishankar in Tokyo on October 6-7, Quad to send signal to China. Quad here refers to the US, India, Japan and Australia. Several papers highlight the outrage over the death of a 19-year-old Dalit rape victim. Gang raped and tortured. Dalit teen dies after 15-day battle. Headlines The Times of India. Hathras Nirbhaya succumbs to brutality, reports the Pioneer. The Financial Express writes, over 9 crore infected shows ICMR's second national sero survey. The Asian Age reveals 1 in every 15 individuals has been exposed to COVID-19 virus by August. And finally, the Hindustan Times reports, women outwork men 10 times to 1 when it comes to unpaid house chores, says a government report.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Government approves procurement of 14 lakh metric tons of pulses and oilseeds at MSP in Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Telangana and Haryana. Full Election Commission to review preparedness for upcoming assembly elections in Bihar today. Centre releases COVID-19 safe workplace guidelines for industry. Tamil Nadu government extends lockdown till October 31st with additional relaxations. And in IPL cricket, Sunrisers Hyderabad beat Delhi Capitals by 15 runs in Abu Dhabi. And now, before we end the bulletin, we leave you with Bapu's favourite bhajan, Vaishnava Janto, sung by an artist from Singapore. Vaishnava Janto tene kahi That we end the morning news. Have a nice day.